will not summarize the paper Roger and I with my collectors have written, because I suppose that most of you have read it. I just want to underline a few points that we made in this sort of introductory paper. Besides providing some guidelines for this workshop, at the outset with this paper, our intention was to clarify one of the main themes of the research program on global suburbanism, which is governance and mainly suburban governance. For that matter, we have distanced ourselves from a normative definition of governance that is often used by political actors and researchers in the urban field. Thus, for us, it doesn't make any sense to talk in terms, for example, of good governance. Instead, the notion of governance reflects a void or a crisis. We have to discuss about it, regarding political regulation in the post-Keynesian and post-Fordist context. So when we look at governance, it's not because if we use the notion of governance, it's not because we think that there is a specific way of doing things that we should adopt, but because it is a way to understand how things are in the process of restructuring. We have taken a more critical perspective than the normative definition we often see about governance. In that respect, we have written in the text that, and I am quoting, the notion of governance is appealing insofar as it tries to gather together and identifying the varying institutions, practices, discourses, ideologies, and representation that affect how different processes are produced, contested, and experienced. This said, we are most interested in understanding two central aspects of suburban governance. First, how processes of suburbanization and forms of suburbanisms are differentiated from an historical and geographical perspective. And secondly, the points of convergence and, for sure, divergence in different regions of the world. For that matter, we thought it is important, and this is without saying, but maybe it's better to underline it, to question the US model of suburbanization that Roger referred to in his introductory talk. The US model of suburbanization usually defined as the universal paradigmatic case. We have also warned ourselves against the principle of periodization as a model for understanding the development of peri-urban spaces. We nevertheless came out with three ideal types for understanding different styles of suburbanization that are self-built, state-led, and private-led. We have also suggested different modalities of suburban governance that are mainly structured around three predominant factors: the state, capital, and the authoritarian action, where private actors are playing a central role. So I think that there are we can say more about the paper. I will leave Roger complete what I just introduced.